All right, guys, welcome to another Texas Bolt Action battle report. I'm really sorry that it's been a while since I put up any video, but I'm gonna try to make it up to you today with a unusually epic battle here. We are going to be in Sicily, and the U.S. Troops are moving down the road, trying to get to Messina, and along the way they're having to take little pockets of resistance, little villages like this one over here. And in this scenario, the Americans are going to be attacking this town, but the Germans are sending reinforcements, and the Americans know that, so they are going to be defending on this ridge to try and keep the Germans from doing that. So we kind of have two separate objectives going here. The Germans are going to be trying to get this hill over here, that objective there, from this side of the table. And then they're going to be trying to hold this objective from the Americans as the Americans attack this village from the other side. And then the swing objective will be controlling this crossroads right here. You can barely make out a faint road that goes into the town there. So it's a 2v2. I'm here with Patrick Conway and Kevin Sauer and Mark Cole. And they have brought some pretty amazing looking armies. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to start with the Germans. So Mark, why don't you tell me what you brought with your Germans here?
Okay, I've got a veteran command, two veteran platoons with anti-tank grenades. I've got two regular platoons, mortar team, sniper team, machine gun team, truck, and a Marder 3.
Cool. Is that everything?
Yes, sir.
All right. And then Kevin, you want me to just go through this since I put this army together? Okay, so Kevin is going to be running some of my Germans here. He's got a veteran first lieutenant with a couple of veteran 8-man here infantry squads. They're going to be supported by 3 regular here grenadier squads. For support, they've got a regular medium machine gun and a regular medium mortar, and they're going to be supported by a Panzer III with a medium AT gun, and they've got for transport, because this is a very big map, they've got a half-track and a Opel Blitz truck. So that's what they're going to be using to try and either defend the village or force the Americans off the ridge over here. So moving around to the other side, I've got the Americans. Patrick, you want to... Let's start with you guys. What do you got?
Inexperienced officer team.
Now this is second armored, right?
This is second armored.
Yeah, cool. That's historically accurate.
Bazooka team. I have 6 veteran squads that are all the same NCO with the SMG, dual BARs, and 4 rifle.
Wow.
A 75 millimeter Sherman and a medium an M&G Jeep.
Nice. So all the squads are vet, and
Yes.
the officer is inexperienced.
Yeah.
Very interesting. And then you have the bazooka for the AT. Oh man. Okay. So I'll go over my squads right quick. So I've got let's see, just a regular first lieutenant here. He's going to be backed up by 2 7-man regular infantry squads and 1 8-man regular infantry squad. And then loaded up in this Dodge weapons carrier, I've got some veteran engineers with a flamethrower, and I've got a veteran squad with dual BARs here, a 7-man squad. They're supported by a M white scout car and or M3 white scout car, and then I busted this HMC out again. I know you guys have seen me use it. It's never done well, but it's just really themed really well for this battle. So I'm going to use that. And then I've got a regular medium machine gun. I also have a regular bazooka team and a regular mortar team with a spotter. So we're going to go ahead and do placement and figure out who's going to go where. And we will be back to start turn 1. So stay tuned. All right, guys. So we are back after the deployment, and it may not look like much right now, but we put half of our troops in reserve and committed the first half to start on the table. So I'll just go ahead and start with mine. I've got 2 regular infantry squads deployed behind these bushes. They're getting ready to jump into those trenches when the action starts. I've got 1 medium machine gun that's got a pretty good view of the valley below. I've got my mortar positioned back here behind the hill, and he's being relayed fire orders from his spotter over here. We've got a bazooka team around the base of the hill, itching to get up to that objective. And then I've got my HMC just really cheekily sitting over here on the other side of this hill. Although it may have been a mistake, it doesn't look like there's many tanks over here. But we'll see what we can do. Meanwhile, on the German side, we've got Kevin has set up his medium mortar here, so he's definitely going to be looking for some stationary targets over there. We've got a squad of, are those vets or regs? Those look like vets hanging out behind this wall. The truck and the Opel Blitz is, I take it, probably full of infantry and being supported by this Panzer III. Over here, the Germans are looking to do a different job. They're looking to hold. So Mark has positioned quite a lot of infantry. These are regulars here?
Those are, yes.
Regulars, and then we've got a officer team over here beside the building. Mortar team has taken up the position in the trenches. Oh, it sounds like there's chickens in my house. The Martyr 2 is over here at the edge of the road with a 72-inch range gun. And then I take it you probably put some guys in some houses over here?
Snipers in that house.
Sniper is in the top story of the brick house. It's kind of a modern house for Sicily. But you know what I've noticed when I look at pictures, you expect them all to look the same, but they actually don't all look the same at this period of time. There's actually a lot of Western influence, or Western European influence. Okay, so meanwhile, over here, Patrick has just deployed what looks to be like kind of a probing unit, recon unit. I gotta interrupt the video to show everybody that. There is a chicken checking out my place right now. It's one of our chickens. We'll just have to get her out of here. But anyway, we've got the officer coming on with 3 veteran infantry squads and looks like a Jeep to support with an MMG. They're checking out the place cautiously. So anyway, we're going to go and get this chicken out of our house, go ahead and play turn 1, and we'll let you know what happens. So do stay tuned. All right, guys, we are coming in at the end of turn 1, and things got off to a pretty cruddy start for the Americans. I'm currently looking down the barrel of a Martyr that took out a bazooka team that was laying in wait over there in the woods. The Americans had a pretty sly little trap, and we'll talk about that first. So the bazooka teams, there were 2 of them, as you recall. There was one here that did make it up to the woods. Kind of was waiting to show its hand, thought it could hide behind the woods and be safe, but the Germans sent an Opel Blitz straight down the highway, unloaded a squad of veteran grenadiers who jumped out and annihilated the bazooka team. They also unloaded their medium machine gun over here, and the reason he's faced that way is because another bazooka team appeared here in the forest and tried to take a shot at the Opel Blitz, but missed. So that's both bazooka teams that the Americans had laying in wait here on this highway gone. So in the meantime, not a lot happened over here. The Americans did get into position, moved up their regular squads into these trenches. The medium machine gun team went into ambush, tried to take it out on the Opel Blitz down the highway, but was unsuccessful. Medic just getting into position. Mortar team deciding to range in on Kevin's mortar team over here on the hill. That mortar team deciding to range in on the medium machine gun, but missing. The mortar team down here is able to fire with help from his spotter up on the hill that's radioing in coordinates. We had the HMC try its luck at the Panzer III, getting into a good spot with some good cover, but missing its shot. Panzer III returned in kind, also missing. Panzer III also opened up on the bazooka team with the medium machine guns on its hull. Kevin's moving this this squad around the hill. They were talking about how there wasn't a threat and how he should just advance. And I was really hoping he would come up into that orchard and let my medium machine gun go to work on him, but he decided to play it safe and move around the side of the building there. Meanwhile, over here in the town, Patrick is starting to move up his infantry and take up positions looking across the street at the buildings that he's expecting Mark to come down into soon. He moved his Jeep up to deny the middle of the town. Jeep took shots at a pesky sniper up in the top story that's been giving them a lot of trouble. Sniper did manage to put a pin on this squad, and that squad was unable to shake that pin and had to go down. But there's an officer team nearby now, the inexperienced officer team, so that should help out a little bit later. And finally, over here, Mark just moving some infantry up. These guys are technically in the building right now. We just didn't want to take the roof off. He has another squad on the ground floor of this building currently, supported by their officer team over here. Mortar team was trying to help out in the fight to take out the bazooka over there, but had missed. And the Mortar 3, it's a Mortar 3, right? Or
Yes,
Mortar
sir.
2. Mortar 3 definitely took out that other bazooka team with its main gun. So, a lot of German armor currently in a place where the Americans probably don't want them, but there is some American armor being held off the field, so we'll see if that can make any difference in this next turn. So, stay tuned. All right, guys, we are back after the end of turn 2. Some significant things happened this turn. As you can see, these woods are now ablaze. The engineers moved up in their Dodge weapons carrier, which I'll try to get a better shot of here. They jumped out. They ran up to the woods where Kevin's regular HERE squad was hanging about and hit him with the flamethrower and emptied the tank on them and took the entire squad out with one shot. Wisely staying out of the woods to avoid the ire of the tank over here. However, Kevin decided to move his half-track up and moved his truck back. Popped out a veteran grenadier squad as well as the officer team. He also moved back his machine gun to a safe distance. So that's kind of forced the Germans back a little bit, but they're still sitting soundly on the objective. Mark moved a Opel Blitz onto the field and pushed out some more regular, those are regulars, right, Mark?
Those are vets.
Oh, these are actually veteran grenadiers that are making their way towards these strong points over here. But the U.S. has brought on a few reinforcements. We've got some veteran infantry here and more veteran infantry from Patrick's 2nd Armored. So we've got the first infantry and the 2nd Armored. It's pretty cool. But anyway, they're hanging out behind the tree line. This squad took shots at these vets and did manage to get a pin on them and kill a man. Meanwhile, over here with the defense, it's a pretty quiet sector. The Germans don't really want to come out across that open ground. They're not really making use of the orchard or anything like that. However, out here on the flanks, a M3 white scout car did appear, but was out of range to fire its guns at those men at that moment in time, so it wasn't able to, but this squad did come on. They're starting to kind of angle toward this orchard, and they came under fire by the grenadiers over here. And this squad took a pin, but no casualties. Another significant thing that happened was the mortar that was arranged in on the other mortar took it out completely, so it's gone. No more German artillery fire coming from that hill. Machine gun went into ambush, but could not find a proper target. The medic just moved up to get in position. Officer team also kind of moving up to support these guys, and we saw another squad of here infantry come on from Kevin's table edge. So Kevin's got 3 squads on the table right now. He still has 2 squads in reserve that he was unable to bring on this round. So moving over to the town, some significant developments. I'll come around here so we can kind of see it cinematically. So Sherman tank came on, took a shot at this building, but before the gunner could load the shell, the Sherman took a shot from the Martyr 3 all the way over there. That was an ambush. We determined it was in the 45-degree arc of fire, and didn't hit the Sherman luckily, but it was enough to cause the gunner to fire a misfire, and he missed the building he was aiming at with that squad that was on the first floor. That squad quickly got out of that building, got down into these ruins, so they now have a little bit of a foothold across the street, looking squarely at the Jeep. The Jeep did roll up and tried to take some shots at the mortar team over there in the trenches, but missed. Sniper was pinned, took shots at, who did the sniper shoot at?
Squad, I think.
One of these squads.
The Jeep.
It was fired at the Jeep actually, but didn't really do any damage. But we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 veteran infantry squads rolling up. When that squad jumped into this building, they did take shots at the vets and killed 3 men, but it's just 1 pin, and that squad is still holding strong. That's the power of the veterans for you. And they are just kind of moving across the street to try and deny the Germans these buildings here. Meanwhile, Mark's Germans had several squads. How many squads? 3 squads that were unable to get on the table, unable to pass the morale test. So the battle rages on. So these squads all took shots at Sniper. Nobody was able to kill him. They were able to put some pins on him, but overall pretty banal exercise. Exercise in banality, I guess is the way to put it. But anyway, we're going to go ahead and continue with turn 3. So thank you guys for watching, and we will let you know what happens. So stay tuned. Okay guys, we are back after turn 3, and as you can see, the Germans have kind of sorted themselves out, and they've gotten an assault underway. They're really just sitting on this objective with the Panzer, but they've decided to start moving kind of in this direction toward the town, but they've come under fire from veterans in the woods, both my veterans over here at the 1st Infantry Division and Patrick's 2nd Armored Division guys. They actually were able to put down enough dual BAR fire to just whittle that veteran squad that was sitting here earlier, just taking them completely out, forcing this squad to ground. And actually I take that back. So this squad, the 1st Infantry Division, forced this squad to ground, but my veteran engineers peeked out from around the side of the woods, and those 2nd Armored vets did take that squad out. However, there's another squad of reserves that has come on here at the back of the field, and we got the half-track supporting, moving across, as well as the officers. So pretty strong-looking German defense. The Opel Blitzes have pulled back to the very back of the table to get out of the way of the tanks, especially the Martyr. Martyr took another shot at, or actually Martyr fired at
Sherman.
Okay, took another shot at the Sherman earlier, missed. Sherman pulled out and took a shot at these men in here. Did manage to get one of them dead and get a pin on the other. Jeep took fire from that squad, but did not. It pinned it, and they did roll, but it was just a crew stun, so it has 2 pins on it right now. More reserves from Mark coming on over here on the side, firing at a squad over here of vets in the open. Patrick was planning to put them down. I urged him to have them stand their ground, which he did, and didn't kill anybody, but it pinned them. But that pin definitely kept them from doing what they needed to do, which was to get up here to these buildings. But we have managed to get one vet squad into the fortifications under that building, and the inexperienced officer team is holding down the other. This squad was unable to get up. These other squads are all starting to move up now that they have the Sherman to support them. So it's only a matter of time, I hope, before they get to those buildings. This squad, we already covered them. Let's see, the officer did move down to support this squad. They're kind of awkwardly down here, laying down between the house and the mountain. Sniper still causing trouble, but still kind of pointless to try and hit him. So meanwhile, over here, not just a lot has happened. The HMG did get a shell bounced off of it by the Panther III, stunning the crew, so it ended up having to go down. It's going to be really hard to see if that thing can get into gear. And the Panther doesn't show any signs of changing targets anytime soon. So there's that. There's been some skirmishing out here on the flanks with this squad that's still in the open. M3 wide scout car supported this infantry. This infantry took fire and went down. The M3 wide scout car put shots into that squad, pinning them. And that actually, this squad actually went down prematurely. I put them down before Kevin even issued the order, and it turned out that he didn't pass the morale test. So that was just kind of a waste of a move. The mortar has changed targets. It's now firing at this squad over here. It missed this first time, but it's ranged in at a 5. This squad took shots at the squad over there and did manage to kill one, I think, or at least put a pin on. Actually, no, you know what? It didn't hit him at all. It just took shots. But they've been taking fire at long range from the Panzer's MMG on the whole, losing a man, and then they lost another man to that squad who used their ambush at the end of the turn. So that's kind of where we sit. This squad, this engineer squad, is also taking casualties from fire from the half track, which is in pretty good position now. So that's pretty much everything that's happened this turn. It's a lot going on across the board here. We'll have to see if the Americans can hang on to this objective and the other objective that they hold currently. I don't think that the Americans are going to be able to wrestle this objective from the Germans, but we'll see. But the Germans know that, I think, and they're looking really hard to take one of these 2 objectives. So it'll be interesting to see what they decide to do. So we're going to go ahead and play turn 4, and we'll let you know how it goes, so stay tuned. All right, folks, we are back after the end of turn 4, and as you can see, the HMC is still alive. Took another hit from the Panther III, but failed to penetrate, rolled a 1. Before that, the HMC tried to activate, but just could not get the engine running, couldn't get it together. So now there's an officer headed down the hill to try and get it in gear. They've got 3 pins at this point, so it's going to take some doing. The mortar, meanwhile, back here is doing work. Not only has it taken out this mortar over here earlier, but now it has ranged in on this regular squad, taking out half of it in one shot. Forcing the squad to go down. So that is going pretty well there. This squad is taking a lot of fire now. The engineers, they've crawled into this tree line. They did take shots at the officer, but now they're taking fire from just about everybody. LMGs from the Panzer III, as well as fire from the half track. And did the squad fire at them as well?
Yeah.
So
Killed
they're
somebody.
taking a lot. They're veterans, so they're holding really fast. So it's pretty nice. Machine gun up here took fire from the MG42 down there in the bushes, and it did manage to kill one of the people in there. So now that is now it's a small man team. Meanwhile, this squad tried to activate, couldn't, went down. This squad ended up just staying put. This squad over here on the flank is moving up, trying to just keep pressure on the squad on the far flank over here by the orchard. They're also being supported by the M3 White Scout car, which didn't manage to kill anybody, but did put a pin on them. Let's go over here to the town. Actually, we'll look over here at this objective really quickly. It looks like Kevin is just moving his men over to get closer to the objective. I think they're really itching to take this squad out, and they're also putting a lot of fire on this veteran squad. A whole veteran squad of grenadiers moved up to the wall. As you recall, they were out here in the middle. They moved to the wall. They thought they were safe, but the veterans from the 2nd Armored just kind of pivoted up the hill and were able to catch them in the open and put a lot of fire on them. Ended up wiping them out completely. So over here on this side in the town, the Sherman withstood another shot from the Martyr, which finally decided to kind of aim towards it or move around to face it to get it in its arc of fire again. The Sherman has moved up and found itself a really nice spot behind this building where it can see this half track out here in the field, and took a shot at it but missed. It also put all of its MG fire into these ruins where the veteran infantry still are, who do have anti-tank grenades, by the way, so that'll be interesting. All of these squads took pins. This squad was unable to get up. They ended up going down. They're going to try to get back over into these ruins on the next turn. This squad took fire. The Jeep took fire from fresh veteran squads that came in. Mark finally got some of his badly needed reinforcements onto the table, and this squad here is still putting down fire on them. The sniper was also able to put pins on this squad. So there's a lot of success here in the town, but it does seem like these squads out here in the open are taking a lot of fire, and that's really hurting them. So that sniper up in that tower is doing a lot of work. So we're going to go ahead and play turn 5, and we will let you know how it goes. Mark has been really kind of hamstrung by the lack of reinforcements that have made it onto the table. I think he still has 3.
One medium G left.
One medium machine gun that still wants to come in. So we'll have to see if that can happen. So we're going to go ahead and play turn 5, and we will let you know how it goes. So stay tuned. Okay, guys, we're back after turn 5. It's been pretty grueling over here in the town. A lot of shots being fired from people at long range into the mountains. A lot of shots being returned. This squad has repositioned itself to start shooting at the 4-man squad, which has taken cover in this building here. So now we've got 2nd Infantry Division veterans in pretty much every one of these buildings along the mountainside to keep the Germans at bay from coming out here. We did have a tank assault from these grenadiers that failed, and so they retreated back into the ruins. So far, the Americans just have not really been able to whittle them down enough or keep them from doing whatever they want, despite all of their pins. Meanwhile, over here, these Americans they've repositioned themselves. They finally kind of got over there, but they did take some sniper fire. Snipers have really just been a huge pain this whole game up here in this window just doing work. This squad positioned itself here to start taking shots at the squad over here on the mountainside. Managed to give them a pin. Didn't manage to kill anyone though. That squad also took shots at the squad in here of American veterans. Mark's final reinforcements did come on. This machine gun right here. The Martyr moved up and took a shot at the Sherman and missed, and the Sherman returned fire and also missed. So that was a huge bummer for both of them. Meanwhile, over here, the vets continue to take fire. Kevin just continues to sit on the objective. Kevin actually had to peace out, so he's kind of relinquished command to Mark. Meanwhile, over here, the HMC took a shot at the Panzer, missed. Panzer took a shot at the HMC, also missed. So that showdown is still going on. Officer still standing by to give the HMC orders. The mortar managed to clean out an entire squad over here of grenadiers. This grenadier squad is still taking fire, kind of on this kind of inconsequential battle over here on the flank between the scout car and the regs. These regulars have just kind of started moving this way, trying to get to that objective. It's going to be a real surprise if they manage to do anything before the end of the game. They might. Medic just moved down here to support the poor veterans in the trees. This squad was unable to activate, had to go down. The veterans also tried to activate, but they couldn't do it. They went down. Machine gun lost another man, so it's down to one man. It's kind of in a little bit of a medium machine gun duel with that medium machine gun over there. And that's pretty much it. Germans are sitting pretty firmly on this objective. Americans still hold this objective very firmly. And I think it's all going to come down to the town. It's all going to come down to if the Germans can get enough squads up to sit on the objective and at least contest it. They can definitely draw the game at least if they can do that. It'll be interesting to see if they can actually pry it from the Americans, but with the Sherman sitting there, it's going to be tough unless the Martyr takes it out. So I don't know. We're going to play this last turn, and we'll let you know how it goes. So stay tuned. Okay, folks, so we are back after the end of a very long turn 6. And as you can see here, the Germans have managed to contest this objective by positioning themselves where they were just beside the tank so that these guys weren't able to fire or trigger their ambushes over those guys. And these guys also, these guys were the only ones that were able to fire. So anyway, pretty long turn. Not a lot happened over here. There is one thing of note. The HMC did finally manage to get a stunning shot onto the Panzer 3. It hit it on a 6. Was it 6 on 6 that it hit it on?
No, I think it was a 6.
Just a 6. But managed to stun the crew so that it couldn't fire back. Too bad Kevin wasn't around to see that. But a lot of these squads just ended up going down. I did end up firing with these guys just to kind of keep pressure on those guys. One squad made it out into the field and whittled this squad down to a couple men, but they were hosed by the machine gun. The mortar also landed a shot right in the middle of this team, but they still passed their morale check due to their officer being nearby. They fired shots on these guys. These guys weren't able to, the veterans weren't able to activate. The other veteran team over here was also unable to activate, so that kind of was that. The machine gun, I don't remember, I think it just went down. Lots of units went down over here. The Martyr tried to fire a shot at the Sherman and hit it this time, just stunned it. Half Track decided to divert course from the action over here, move over here, and everybody fire on this squad. And did manage to get them whittled down a little bit, get them pinned. These squads, unable to do anything about the objective, just turned their guns on the squad, the 4-man squad in this building, whittled them down to 1. And it was just all kind of a build-up for this squad to just run out of this building and just position itself kind of alongside the tank there, so that and most of these squads had gone into ambush, but they were unable to fire. So yeah, that's the end. It looks like it's going to be a draw. Got the Germans contesting that objective, They are holding one objective soundly, and the Americans are holding another objective soundly. So, yep, that's the end. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed watching this pretty epic battle. Had fun playing with these guys, and we're gonna we'll have this up on the channel soon, and be sure to join the Texas Bolt Action Facebook group. Say hi to us, show us your armies, show us your terrain, and yeah, I'm sorry, I'm a lot slower in getting these videos out now. I'm kind of starting to pick up with some other stuff that I'm doing, but hopefully it doesn't go away, and I can keep putting them out. So anyway, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you soon. Take care.